Welcome back to the show, guys. I'm your host, Collins Opio, and of course, this is Sportend TV, your number one leading sports channel in Kenya. Welcome to the show, and on set, I'm glad again to have Hope. We had her in the first session, which was to analyze the match between Man City and Man U. Hope, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And do remember that Hope is a graduate from Dedan Kimathi University, and she is an engineer by profession. I hope by me saying that it will add more points to you.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's get on to it. Manchester United versus Manchester game. On the first session on this show, we have discussed a lot of things. Tactics, where the match will be won, the defense, the attack, and both tacticians. And the match has just ended. Man City have been defeated by Man U, 2-1. Your take on this? Did you expect anything, any win for Manchester coming into this match?
Manchester United have been on a better form because City anyway lost their midweek match. And yeah, this can be said that it was kind of expected, but we also expected the derby to be fierce. We expected retaliation from Manchester City, and they just gave that, only that their defenses were not strong this time round.
Manchester City's defense has not been strong, and we had discussed that earlier, and we did talk about it. Manchester City defense, yeah, they have been scoring, but at the same time leaking goals, and it has come to pass on this match. They scored the first and they went ahead. Then Manchester United did equalize, and finally Rashford buried the hatchet and Manchester United carried the day. Your take on that?
My take on that, first of all, we should talk about the substitutions, because by the halftime whistle we were 0-0. The second half started, Manchester United had a really rough patch, and Manchester City were really trying. They were pressing, they were sending more men forward, and they were really attacking. And after the substitution for Foden to be replaced by Grealish, really worked out for them, because Grealish never even spent more than 5 minutes in the pitch, and he had already done something useful. He had created an advantage to their team. And you can see the other tactician, Erik ten Hag, took this to notice, and he substituted in Garnacho. And Garnacho came to play a very important role in this win, because he was fast on the counters, he was quick to release the ball, and overall he had a great game, and he also rebuilt the team confidence, which was somehow broken down before when Manchester City took the lead.
Garnacho, the 18-year-old Manchester United sensation, did come in the second half to make a difference, and finally Manchester United were back on it. The two substitutions, Grealish, as you have just mentioned, came in and immediately had an impact. The same thing applies to Garnacho. He came and he gave an assist to Marcus Rashford, and Manchester United were up. The two substitutions between Ten Hag and Pep, which substitution do you think was much effective into this match in the second half?
I think all the substitutions were effective, only that the later substitution, which is made by Manchester United, bore more fruits. Because if we talk in a literal sense, Garnacho came in way later. He was fresher when most of the opposition, Manchester City in this case, was tired, and he changed the dynamics of the game. So before they had an opportunity to change their playing style, change their tactics, change their positioning, he had already made an impact. And we can also see that after their second goal by Marcus Rashford, Erik ten Hag made other key substitutions, because he substituted attacking players with defensive players so that he can maintain that lead. So it was really hard for City to have an equalizing or even maybe a winning goal.
Well said, Hope. On that I do have to agree with you. We have to mention this. the two goalkeepers, the two shot stoppers, that is De Gea and Ederson, between the sticks. De Gea this time round, as we are used to, De Gea didn't have most saves compared to other Manchester City derbies. It was, I think that the defense really shielded him in this match. And Ederson on the other side, it was attack after wave of attack. Now, do you think it was something that they really planned it before coming to this match? Now that Manchester United did really stood out all the waves and the waves of Manchester City attack. Do you think that this time around the defense did really come in for Manchester United?
Since the last match, you can see that the Manchester United defense is really improving. Because I think, if I'm not wrong, they have been able to achieve more clean sheets than Manchester City have in the previous games, especially. And in light to that, we can see defenders like Tyrell Malacia, who was really putting in the work rate in this match. We can see Fred, his man marking was actually really particular, and it was really good. And he really marked Kevin De Bruyne very well. He followed him everywhere, and everybody knows that Kevin De Bruyne is the playmaker of Manchester City. So those Manchester City balls were not getting forward efficiently enough. Space was not there, and I think that really shielded De Gea. He wasn't dealing with so many shots because most of the Manchester City shots were blocked shots. And yeah, overall he had a fairly good game, apart from the goal he conceded from Grealish.
Fred did a very good job of marking De Bruyne out of the game. In that sense, I mean that cutting the supply between the midfield and the attack. So De Bruyne is nowhere to be seen today, and he didn't come to the party. So it is kudos for Fred, the Brazilian. Now, the chances that were created in this match, Marcus Rashford had so many chances in the first half to kill off the game, but he didn't use the chances, and Man City came in and punished them immediately. Grealish was introduced. What do you make of Marcus Rashford in this game, considering that finally gave Manchester United the win?
Before I talk about Marcus Rashford, I'll really have to talk about the tactics that Pep Guardiola used, which I think backfired on him. In the first half, you could see Manchester United were creating more chances. They were really good on the counters, even if they had two open posts. Really, it was like an open post. They failed to score because one, Ederson, almost made a blunder, and the other one he was only left with the goalkeeper, and he was not able to score in these matches. And you can see, on the other hand, Haaland has not had these opportunities. He has not had the opportunities that Rashford has. So if Pep Guardiola told his men to be on Rashford's case, like how Erik ten Hag had his men on Haaland's case, maybe the results would have been much more different. And now we talk about Rashford. Rashford has been a remarkable player, especially in the past few matches, and we can see that his quality and class showed in this game. In the first half, maybe we can attribute it to jitters, maybe we can attribute it to wanting to prove something, because he has scored in almost every match. And yeah, he has 9 goals, and he really wants to build upon that. So we can attribute that to the mistakes. But you can see they were able to learn from their mistakes. He was able to compose himself, and his composure helped him to score a goal.
The composure of Marcus Rashford, who is currently on a red-hot form of scoring streak, did really come to play in this match. Moving forward, we did touch a bit on the formation, and I was particularly surprised by Ten Hag's decision to go with 4-3-3 instead of the famous 4-2-3-1 that he has been using. Do you think that the change of formation did really counter the Manchester City formation and maybe the mindset? Because now it was a similar possession, but Manchester United was a bit defensive, considering that he still had Casemiro and Fred in the middle of the pack. Your take on that?
I can say that in the previous video, we really talked about Pep Guardiola not coming into this match as an underdog. He has come into this match with a lot of Premier League and Derby experiences as compared to Erik ten Hag. So obviously, the change of formation clearly confused his flow, it confused his play, and as you can see, the change in formation was able to hold Manchester City, because in the first half they were not really having the breakthrough that they needed.
The breakthrough that they needed, it didn't really work out for. Before we move on, I just have to mention this on Erling Haaland. In the first half, he only had like 3 touches the whole of the match. He was completely marked out on this match, and it really came in to affect Manchester City. So it means that if you mark Haaland out of the game and Kevin De Bruyne out of the game, Manchester City cannot perform. That is just an afterthought. I won't pass it to you. So moving forward, let us discuss the goals. The first goal that Manchester United scored, courtesy of Bruno Fernandes, it was a bit of controversial, considering that it had to be checked on VAR. And finally, the goal stood. What's your take on that?
My take on the goal, obviously after VAR, it showed that the goal was supposed to stand, because Rashford never really touched the ball, and if he had touched the ball, it would have been offside. And the second goal was well deserved, but personally I feel the penalties that Manchester City were crying for, we have seen in previous Premier League matches people being given penalties for way less. So I really never understood why they pick and choose which are the serious penalty claims and which are the more like jokes. I don't really understand that, and I feel that they should have been hard in their penalty claims, because I've seen people being given way less. So I really want to know what your thoughts are on the penalty claims.
The thoughts on the penalties. The match has now ended, so the penalty cannot be given or be called back. So we'll just call it a day. I think that generally it has not been a very explosive match. The derbies that we have been experiencing in the past, I think that this match, though Manchester United won, it was not really a good game that most of us were expecting, going by the previous matches before. So I think that's all from us today, and remember that the London Derby between Arsenal and Tottenham will also cover that match for you, including the post-match analysis as we have just done today. I'm your host, Colin Sopio, and of course this is Sporting TV, your #1 leading sports channel. Give us a like, hit that subscription button. So hope your final words on this. It has been nice having you on set, and I hope that we'll keep on doing this. Your take on this show today?
I really disagree with you. The match really had me entertained, and I really think that what really matters is the trying. Sometimes it can be Manchester City could have scored 6-3 like the previous match. And yes, it is a match where Manchester City are winning by a large margin, but where is the fight? We really saw the fight today. So if you agree with me, we want to see your views in the comment. Personally, I had a great time. It was a really big derby. It was an explosive derby. We can see it from the aggressions of the players. We can see how the players were arguing with the referee, and we can see how bad the players from both sides wanted to win. So yeah, that is my take.
Well guys, that has been the opinion of my guest today, Hope Ragen, and I'm really looking forward to get your opinion on the comment section. Do you really think that the goal that Manchester United scored was a deserved one? Well, I'm waiting to get your comments. As for me and my guests, it's bye-bye for now. Remember to keep it Sporting TV.